It's a fine three-master, thin like a bird. Heave-ho!
Oh, come on, man. I've just destroyed the fort of Crookspur, and there's still captains out and about.
Oh, Captain Parfito's never said a hard word. As we sail all our troubles away, hold fast to the helm, hold fast to the wind. Heave-ho! Incidente! On God's grace, or we'll all be skinned as we sail down the dead.
Okay. We're back on Oriokoiki, and we want to let them know, hey, your people are free from Crookspur, and even better, the fort is kind of free for the taking if they want, honestly. Let's go talk with Ruasar. Maybe she's at her throne right now. We won't have to go interrupt her in bed. Nope, she's in bed. Guess I better go tell her the news.
Crookspur is a blight on the archipelago. I pray that Ngati drags the island down with both claws.
Well, the tall stag stamped it.
What say?
Your slaver problem? Her eyes brighten with joy. Ruasara steps closer and embraces you roughly, clapping your back.
What say? If those parasites drew their final breaths, I would hear of it.
Master Kua is dead. His business is finished.
While Onakaza plays at diplomacy, we are the spear in the guts of our enemies.
That's right.
I have come to expect troubling news from outsiders. Today is no different, but at least you bring me a tale for my grandchildren.
Is this troubling news? Nodding to herself, Ruasara looks you up and down, weighing something unspoken.
Tell Onakaza that the Wahaki accept her authority. If the time comes when she needs to show foreigners the breadth of her power, we will be there. The hospitality of the Wahaki is yours. Respect our ways, and cause no trouble.
Of course.
Leave it to me.
Got anything worth, Huana charm belt? It's not really sus. It's over here. Is that the secret passage? Like your secret escape route? I don't know if there's any new information to be had now. Maybe I could go talk with the people outside. That warrior lady who didn't like us so much when we first met. Not a paro. Who is it? Owata?
Ah, the handsome fish leaps into my net once again, I say.
A smile rises to Owata's face as she catches sight of Takehu.
Wata, how is my little Koiki?
Rotten, pugnant. All the reasons you didn't fight when I gave you back to the sea. I did not think you'd swim back, fish.
Oh.
I am here on business.
Not pleasure? Tell me what they have done with the true Takehu.
Man, he gets around, doesn't he?
You are a delight as ever, I say. Keep the tribe safe, Wata.
It is what I do. You keep swimming, Takehu. It is what you do.
She sighs and gives him a warm look before turning away.
Watch yourself.
But me, I wanted to talk with you. Stop saying that. Goodness, Takehu. Why you gotta be like this, man? I don't know if we can really get anything more lead and key out of them. I think they're mostly innocent and have dealt with the lead and key in turn. Mostly just keeping to their own home and place and keeping them in they're safe. So next on the list would be to return to Queen Onakaza. But first, maybe I want to talk with Aloth on the ship. Maybe we can have a few more words without the Wahaki around. Shaking his head, Takehu seems uncertain of where to place his focus. He draws and expels heavy, whistling breaths through his nose.
I gather my thoughts, Captain. You are not ignored.
Mm-hmm.
And to my tribe, the Water Shapers were keepers of the past, our connection to the ancestors.
His speech rises in intensity, though he doesn't seem aware of it.
How the guild heaped praise on Ngati's chosen. How they congratulated themselves for acquiring me, I say.
For your godlike touch.
My cage was a gilded one. Their dragon, he was not so lucky.
I see your point. They used you both.
The guild teaches a likeness of Ngati's art. For shame. But they posture before outsiders like masters of old.
He holds up an authoritative finger, breathing heavily.
To inspire the world with Ngati's gift. This is my calling.
Nekataka does need your strength. For that is pretty much what keeps Rawatai and Valia at bay.
None of this changes how I feel when I practice the forms. Like swimming over an ocean trench, I say.
He crosses his arms over his chest and sighs.
But Pariki twisted my art into a perversion. An echo of what it should be. The guild must change for the Huana to grow. I say that as Ngati's message delivered through her son's mouth.
So what do you plan on doing about it?
I will bring a change not seen since the days of our ancestors.
Takehu thumps his chin, considering.
Our legends speak of the covenant with Ngati, one that defined the tribes for generations. The ancestors gave her unwavering devotion, and she gave them a gift.
Takehu sighs and lazily scoops a palmful of water droplets from the air. They form a rough approximation of an anglerfish.
Losing Ukaizo severed our connection to the gods. Over time, their gifts diminished.
The anglerfish turns belly up and puffs into vapor.
The tribes have never needed Ukaizo more. With Ngati's blessing, I would bring Ukaizo to them.
What would you expect to find on Ukaizo?
The bleached bones of the past? Lewd sculptures? No one knows what the Huana left behind, and there is little enough for us to guess by.
Well, what else do you know of Ukaizo?
An island, a city, a dream. The best of our people, before Cataclysm buried it under ash and waves.
Volcano?
Others call it the heart of the Huana Empire. More still, call it home.
It's still home? Okay. So you're committed to finding the island.
Kara, but sometimes I wonder if we lost the Covenant for a reason. And if Ngati's chosen should choose his own path.
Takehu sighs.
Whatever we find, what better crew than friends to find lost Ukaizo on treacherous seas? Kara?
He makes a sweeping gesture, grinning all the while.
Sounds fun. Akira. Right, Ishi?
Ishi's the bird.
If you be taking requests, a few more beautiful lads and lasses wouldn't hurt none. Provided they possess the basic know-how of knots, navigation, cannon powder and such.
Seraphin counts off the qualifications on his fingers.
Captain, you have let the handsome fish do all the talking. I needed this. Thank you.
No problem, Takehu. He releases a heavy sigh, shaking out his arms, and the tension dissipates.
Ikera, let us be off.
The world around you darkens, and once again you feel an insistent tug for your intention, the pull centering from Takehu's soul. We'll surrender to it. Once again you find yourself in Andra's waterlogged hall of power. The tired swaying of bioluminescent chandeliers casts uneven rays of light down on her court.
My handsome fish is intimidated by his own potential. How upsetting for him.
The air around you feels thick with moisture. Andra leans forward in her throne.
See the anxiety that takes shelter behind his confident smile? He has worn that since he was old enough to swim.
To crawl?
I could always plant the Covenant in his dreams, but that would spoil the fun of Ukaizo. My final test with Huana. Help him to rise up from crawling. Help him to stand and walk as a man, as a god.
Her presence draws away and watery fingers lightly brush the nape of your neck.
Still with us, Captain? I had no desire to bore you with my inane chatter.
Kehu smirks, eyeing you with concern. You'll get used to it. Let's be off.
A word?
Yes, Maya?
What, did Ishi defecate in your favorite helmet or something?
What?
You've spoken to Aethys, which means you know what we're up against.
Yeah?
If the fleet sailed up to him and fired every cannon at once, I imagine we'd have a fighting chance at taking a chip off his kneecap.
A chip?
There's no stopping him, is there?
I mean... Our course can only become clear later? Not really now, though.
I'll tell your friend to point Aethys and his giant green ass towards another archipelago. Because he's stepping all over the future of Rawatai.
Ooh. Maybe. She sighs away some of her tension, rolling her shoulders and cracking her neck.
I suppose there's a certain appeal to recognizing the inevitable. We don't have to waste our breath trying to stop it.
We can mitigate damage, though.
All assuming that reason can penetrate the green boy's head better than bullets can.
He's been somewhat reasonable. Just... we misunderstand each other, I think.
It reminds me of the first time I shot to kill.
Maya folds her arms and grins. Oh, I have to hear this.
There he stood, a pirate captain barking orders from the forecastle. Out of everyone's range but mine.
Maya holds up her hand to frame a distant spot.
The wind toyed with us. I took aim, never thinking I'd make the shot, but then I felt this awareness, like someone out there was aiming me. A cannon blast took me by surprise. I squeezed off a shot, expecting it to fly wide, but the bullet took my target between his eyes.
She traces a circle over her brow.
I don't know if Bareth kicked open a door or the Sky Mother held my hand, but that man was meant to die. I've got that same feeling now. Better or worse, I know that Aethys is meant to succeed.
Well, time will tell if Aethys getting what he wants is good for the rest of us.
Hope I didn't take the wind out of your sail. Whether or not we can change anything, at least we can say we were there.
Maybe for better or worse.
That's more than most people get.
Yep. I suppose. We'll be off. Nothing more to discuss with everyone. Guess we'll... Let's talk with the steward. Hello? Steward. Has she lost the magic? Just not very talkative, I guess.
We've gone a long way, left our loves behind. Heave-ho, inspirante. It caused me a sorrow most unkind. While crossing down the Deadfire way, hold fast to the helm, hold fast to the wind. Heave-ho, inspirante. Andra's graceful will all be skinned as we sail down the Deadfire way.
They say in Deadfire the luminous grows.
Heave-ho, inspirante.
And so that's where our brave ship goes
To make our fortunes one.
War is brewing. Uh-oh. Alrighty, Queen Onikaza.
My scouts tell me that you sail from Oriokoiki.
The queen raises her brow.
Do the Wahaki pay the crown obeisance in whatever eccentric form suits them?
Onikaza rests her chin on her fist and studies you. You can look forward to Wahaki support when the need arises.
You have united the Huana with our missing limb.
For once, she allows herself a deep and genuine smile of gratitude.
Prayer and the wisdom of Kohopa will help steer my next course. I will send for you in time.
Onikaza dismisses you with a wave. Farewell, Queen. We have our level ups to do. Maybe we should go help Crap, I forgot her name. I know Ishi, the bird. Oh, Maya. Maya is her name. That's who it was. We can go and do that. Yeah, let's go do that. Let's go to Harama with Maya. Tikawara. Okay. So that's where we're off to. Tikawara.
Hold fast to the helm, hold fast to the wind, heave ho, inspirante. On just grace, so we'll all be skinned as we sail down the Deadfire way.
Hold fast to the course, hold fast to the waves.
Heave ho, inspirante.
How do you write in those reports of yours, Maya? Did you detail the Watcher? What about me?
I may have told the company one or two choice details about you.
For real? You thought me worth noting in your politic papers? Maybe I'll make my temple proud yet.
So you're flattered. Interesting. Guess I'll add that to the next report.
Yep. Here's an interesting thing. Oh, hey, you guys need level ups. And Maya has some.
I know exactly what you're thinking.
Maya folds her arms and clicks her tongue against the roof of her mouth. What's that?
You're asking yourself, how did I let the Royal Deadfire Company plant an informant in my crew?
She chuckles to herself, but there's a note of resignation to it. I mean, not really.
My superiors might expect me to report in from time to time, but don't read too much into it. You're not the only big thing happening around here.
I suppose.
I'm in this for a lot of information, a little diplomacy, and plenty of target practice.
I mean, okay, fine. I'm just here seeking Aeth. There's not really any part in trading company drama.
Then I look forward to seeing how long it takes before you find yourself in someone's back pocket.
I mean, I'm also interested in the safety of the Deadfire, I guess.
Well, guess you ought to meet the bird. Ishi is smarter than he looks, but don't expect him to do any tricks.
She nods toward the colorful bird of prey hopping around your ankles.
Ishi, come.
Maya taps her arm with two fingers and clicks her tongue again.
That's a good-looking bird.
Adair raises one hand and waggles his index finger. Remember the last time you pet someone's pet?
Hey, birdie. Hey, birdie.
Ishiza shows no signs of recognition toward Maya or Adair. Ishiza simply claws at the ground and investigates some bugs at a few graceful hops away. Let's just click him. I'll click. Yeah. Cocking his head, Ishiza turns to you with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism.
Takes practice before he'll listen to you properly, but that's a good start.
Yup. Adair nods at Ishiza, who bobs his head in response. Adair nods twice. The large bird replies with two head bobs. Adair begins tilting his head up and down, and Ishiza follows it with vigorous full-body bobs. Encouraged, Adair starts bouncing his own body up and down, at which point Ishiza stops bouncing and watches Adair with cockeyed curiosity. Oh man, the animal made you an animal, Adair.
Did your friend suffer a head wound?
He just gets along better with animals.
Before we get into deeper waters, I've got a question.
Maya clears her throat into her fist.
You've got a ship and a title. Being captain means more than just wearing a big hat. A lot of tough calls to be made.
I mean, I didn't exactly get to choose this life, you know? Just kind of wanted to move away from the living lands after, you know, problems, and got made a watcher, and then got made this, and then I had a castle for one point, and then, you know, and somebody decided to stomp it, and then, you know, it's just the life of an adventurer, I guess. I'm figuring it out as I go, but yes.
A crew can be like family. They can also be like a nest of squalling infants.
Yep.
Let's say your galley cook was fixing to organize the rest of the crew into a mutiny. How would you handle it?
Probably get ahead of the problem, compromise with the crew.
Sort it out as equals. Interesting.
Yeah.
Of course, the only right answer is the one that works in a given time and place. I just wanted to hear yours.
And what's yours?
Ask me again when I'm wearing the big hat. That'll be a different Maya.
Oh yeah?
But enough about me. Glad to be aboard, Captain.
Maya takes your arm and gives it a good pump. What? Let's be off. Enough of that strangeness. And what were you saying, Vector? You said, like, saved? The dwarf fans himself with a dish rag. His face is dark and shiny with exertion. Sweat colors wide crescents on his shirt. He looks at you like a drowning man would look at dry land.
Weeks I've been stranded here. The Valiant Trading Company sends no one. Unless...
He squints at you, dabbing his brow feverishly with a corner of the rag. No one sent me. I came on my own.
Merla, just my luck.
Actually, I came here on Rawatayan business, but not my business. With an anxious swallow, he glances over his shoulder at a sleepy, ramshackle village. His gaze darts from one grass-thatched hut to another, as if expecting some unspeakable horror to emerge. What's he looking at? He isn't fixating on anything in particular, but his eyes widen with unease whenever one of the island Amawa draw near. He flinches and clears his throat.
I only tarry here because my shipmates went to Pococohara to search for Luminous Adra.
Goodness. He brushes an insect off his sleeve.
I worry that Ruano, the local chieftain, gave Captain Bez and my crewmates a false lead.
He knots the rag in his hands, pulling it taut.
Or didn't know the way himself and was just trying to impress the outsider.
Maya winks down at Ishiza.
Ugh, this is a terrible place.
He frowns up at Maya. Well, why would he do that, though?
Why would I go bobbing for reason in shark-infested waters?
He waves his rag like a handkerchief.
You get a pass because I like that one.
Maya folds her arms and grins.
Ruano was the last to speak with the captain before she set sail. He squats in the hut northeast of that pitiful market.
He nods toward the gutted hull of a ship.
I would have joined her, but my stomach... something did not agree. Now it is weeks since they should have returned. I'm only the galley cook, not a search party.
He nurses his stomach and winces.
I'd say he's one clove short of a bulb.
A cozy for my staring. It is unusual to see one of the locals so outfitted.
He glances up and down at Maya, mostly up.
More unusual than a dwarf with no sense of direction?
Ooh. Well, here's to hoping your crew makes it back.
Ach, the company would front the coin for a search party if someone competent stuck their neck out.
He sighs, draping the rag over his shoulder.
I must watch the supplies at the trading post. You will come to check on me, yes?
I don't know why I would. There's a lot of flies over all this fish. More bone than meat, dry on the rack. Their eyes are sunken, and the scales dull. So where is that guy we need to go and communicate with? An abandoned cat.
Leave it to me.
Miri.
For what do you follow me?
Rangi keeps his hands at his sides, breathing heavily all the while. You seem awfully nervous. Something the matter?
Can a weaver not soak his feet in the cool sand? Our village has troubles, Akira. I go here to set mine afloat on Ngati's back.
He nods to indicate the peaceful lapping of waves. Dude, I can tell you're up to something.
If you will not leave me alone, then I go.
He raises his brows and studies you.
All this noisy tarrying exposes us to hungry Lavufath.
He begins the trek back to the village, glancing once over his shoulder. But he isn't. What's this? Dried koiki fruit?
I see your feet will not let you stay in one place.
You didn't leave. His lean face has the pale, clammy sheen of a fish belly, but he forces a smile. What's this koiki fruit I found on the beach? He blinks at you, his mouth falling open. At first it seems like he's going to protest, but then he simply hangs his head in surrender.
Mokumu accused Tamaru of stealing koiki fruit. The fruit which I stole.
Okay.
Ruanu would have us waste our last koiki on a ceremony to the gods. I say the seeds must be harvested and planted.
He nods, resolute on this point even as he eases back.
So I hide them by the shore, where the sun warms the sand just so. And I wait.
Storing fruit in a moderate heat source, not a bad way to ease the seeds open.
Ikira, do you cultivate?
His eyes swell open with hope. Well, I'm a ranger. I've done a bit of cultivation in my time.
Kowiki is tough, stubborn. It does not surrender without a fight. I let Amira's hot breath warm the heart of the seeds and tell them to grow.
So why frame Tamau?
Ruanu would not understand. A Kuaru like me is no farmer. It is not my place to decide what is harvested. But if I can spring life from the Kowiki seeds, then we have a chance to feed the tribe on a new crop.
Okay.
At least, what tribe still lives by the time the fruit grows?
He glances away and sighs. Are you guys in like a famine or something? So Tamau is an innocent man after all.
What say? He has stolen, insulted us, even hurled insults at the gods.
Rangi spits and wipes his mouth with the back of his hands.
He is no innocent, I say. If birthing a new crop of Kowiki means his sacrifice, even Ngati would forgive this.
So it's just a question of what I tell the other one, Mukumu.
Ikira, but say nothing.
Rangi takes a step closer, his eyes widening.
If Ruana takes back the Kowiki, we will grow nothing else in time to sustain the tribe.
Bows his head, speaking to the ground between his feet. I will consider it.
I beg of you, for the good of the tribe, let Tumau meet the gods that the rest of us might eat again.
You know, I'm pretty sure I've got Koiki fruit. Like, could I just hand over some of this? And maybe that'll appease the gods? Or something like that? Like, I feel like there's a reasonable approach to this. Took very little negotiating on my part. But apparently you're not the guy we needed to talk with. We need some other fellow. Maybe he's over here in this cage.
Quit your chirping. I have no fish for you.
Oh, he's telling the Lagofoth no fish. Back.
Oh, filthy lizards. Even here, I always smell them.
Are you complaining about the Lagofoth? It's not very nice of you, you know?
The village starves, and you hide Kowiki fruit?
I hide nothing, you bloated pufferfish. Traitor! Gatty's jaws will close around you.
Jeez.
Confess, Tamau, or will you let good food rot?
A young warrior's forehead is furrowed with lines and beaded with perspiration. He stands over a man bound to a pole.
Does mine look like a full belly, idiot? Question the rest of the Raparu. We all hunger.
Every word out of the bound man emerges as an agonized wheeze. He glares up at Mukumu.
Disgrace. Any other Raparu has worked 10 times in a day what you have in your life, and they do not complain.
The warrior pulls a dagger from his belt and thumbs the tip thoughtfully. Blinking, he turns to you wearing a bright, friendly smile.
Watcher, we can't just let this injustice stand. Do something, or I might.
I intend to, no worries.
You do? I mean, of course you do.
She grins, big and brassy, unable to hide her happiness with you.
I say, this outsider speaks her mind like a Mataru.
He touches his chin and looks over Joti before focusing his attention back on you.
Another outsider. You visit Tikawara in hungry times.
Mukumu sighs through his nose.
For what do you make of this hagfish, huh? Will Tamau confess if I tighten the ropes?
He gestures to the bound man. You know, you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. He blinks, momentarily perplexed.
Pakeho caught this wretch stealing the last of the Kowiki fruit. The tribe was to feast on it for a harvest ceremony.
I stole no Koiki, but I wish I had. I would have hid it somewhere most unpleasant.
In the prison wallet? Oh no! He bares his teeth in a defiant grin.
You hear this? A second chance we give, and Tamao throws it in our faces.
Would it make things better if I had some spare Koiki fruit on hand?
I say, missing food is not the problem. Tamao betrays the tribe, dishonors the Reparo, denies all of us Cahopa's mercy.
He winces as if ashamed to even discuss it.
And he will surely wash back into our nets as a mudfish in the next life if he does not tell us where the Kawiki fruit is.
He raises his voice again just to be certain Tamao hears it.
I might have an old primer on Rauataian naval punishments lying around. You could give those a try.
You speak like an outlander, but your face is of the tribes.
He frowns at Maya.
Forget I said anything.
And everyone says that, don't they? Well, let's see. I found a bunch of Koiki fruit buried by the shore.
Hidden from all the sand crabs and liars, I say.
Mukumu shows his teeth to Tamao.
Ikira, that is no work of mine. Though I want to see you lose a finger to the crabs, digging up the rest.
Tamao laughs in spite of himself, his teeth red with dried blood.
I say I'm beyond finished. For this I'll feed you to Ngati myself.
Mukumu unsheathes his dagger and advances on Tamao. Is this really necessary?
With respect, it is not for you to question how I protect the tribe and appease the gods.
He turns a severe look to you.
Unless you think someone else is to blame.
It was Rangi. The dagger bobs in Mukumu's hand, his pinched glare hovering on Tamao.
Akira, this is true? Why would Rangi do this?
He wants the Koiki seeds to sprout.
What say? He thinks a weaver knows better than the Ranga what to do with our fruit?
His grip tightens on the hilt of the dagger.
Two traitors. But only one deserves death this day.
Resolved, Mukumu nods to himself and presses his lips together. Without another word, he passes you some bottles and shells. So while we got justice for one man, have we helped the tribe with their food problem? Probably not.
All of you.
Uh-oh. The broad-shouldered Amawa at the center of the huddle takes a cautious step back. His gaze never breaks from the tribesmen who have him surrounded, and his hands never stray far from his weapons.
You've all got the wrong idea. I'm waiting for a shipment of sailcloth from the homeland. Is that going to be a problem?
His expression turns stony as the implied threat crosses his lips.
And what say you about this? Coded gibberish, or I'm an Orlan.
Someone from the crowd tosses a sheaf of papers to the ground by Harama's feet. The assembled tribesmen mutter their assent. So this is a Rauatai guy.
Damn it. He's about 2 seconds away from starting a brawl. I've got to step in.
Okay, I'll follow your lead then. She clears her throat, loud enough to turn heads in the direction of your party.
One against a mob isn't exactly even. Ever heard of a fair fight?
Maya cracks her knuckles and rolls her shoulders. Oh, goodness.
Ha! Company warships blow our canoes to splinters, and you call us unfair? You foreign imps are all the same.
Dang, called them imps. Turning to you and Maya, Harama gives away no recognition other than a flicker of gratitude. Oh, what seems to be the problem here, everyone?
As surely as sharks circle spilled blood, this one has been casting an unwelcome shadow on our village.
One of the villagers stepped forward and gestures to Harama.
We found coded documents in his quarters, and he defended himself with lies. Outsider spy.
Mutters of assent rise in volume from the assembled villagers. What makes you think it's anything nefarious?
Because Rauatai hungers after these isles, like a tiger lurking in the tall grass and whetting its chops.
If you townies are dumb enough to go blundering into an alpha predator, you deserve what's coming to you.
Maya squares her stance and shakes her head.
Who are you to speak in his defense? And who is your traitor friend who postures like she is not one of us?
Jeers and rude gestures fill the air, many of them aimed at Maya. Well, see, I'm the one who's going to bring the wrath of Bareth down on your heads if you don't, back off.
Kira! Is that the Watcher who sailed to Nekataka with an army of spirits?
Anxious murmurs of accord.
Harama, we will have eyes on you. Cause no trouble.
The leader of the gang points from his eyes to Harama's and then signals the rest to depart. You're welcome.
I owe you thanks for that, stranger.
The big Roatayan stands at ease and looks you up and down, nodding with approval.
Now here is a welcome sight.
He turns to face Maya, and a smile brightens his features.
Is that little Ashiza? Hop over here, you old terror.
Harama opens his arm, and Maya's bird darts enthusiastically closer, pecking at Harama's shins.
Ishi town. You don't know where he's been.
Maya arches her brows, smiling in spite of herself.
I would say that we should visit the closest tavern and toast to life. But for once, I might be the odd man out.
He appraises you with a curious smirk.
Captain, this is Harama. We were shipmates on the Flying Buttress.
She nods to him, their eye contact lingering an extra moment.
That's a word for it. You could also say we were...
loyal servants of the homeland. That's enough out of you.
Maya touches her brow and shakes her head, hiding the hint of a smile.
Afraid this isn't a social visit. This comes from up high.
She passes him a roll of parchment. His demeanor hardens the moment he unseals the missive. Worming his tongue over his teeth, Harama lifts up the parchment to view it against a light source.
Atsura's up to his tricks again, I see. Thank you, Maya. I've been waiting for this.
Well, that, just pretend I didn't hear that, I suppose.
We're done here. It's been, well, sort of like old times. In a good way.
Maya grins, planting her hands on her hips.
Especially seeing you coming and going again. When the dust settles, maybe we could...
He trails off, shifting his weight.
I'd like that. Ishi misses you something awful.
Say no more. Good luck in your travels and other adventures. Ashiza, you keep your feathers clean.
He salutes Maya and steps back with a wink. Well,
you probably have some questions about what we've been doing.
Maya sighs, nodding.
We found Harama in quite a state, didn't we? It's no wonder you'd be curious about what's going on.
Sure.
Harama is a sociable type of guy. Getting to know people is as easy to him as breathing is to you or me. Atsura set him loose so he can get to know as many people as possible.
He's a spy, you mean?
That's one way you could put it.
Yep.
He's keeping an eye on Tikawara. Who comes and goes, what sorts of things they discuss.
Yep.
Atsura is committed to a more peaceful Deadfire. But he's just one man. He needs good people to shoulder the burden with him.
Right. Okay. He had coded... Well, of course he had coded missives. Well, I guess that's all, I guess.
You have every reason to be suspicious. Just trust me that this is all for the best. I wouldn't lie about that.
Of course not. You wouldn't lie about, nationalism and all that. Sure. But oh boy, look at the time. What tragedy has befallen our village? A good thing the Watcher has shown his face to rid us of these troublesome Raparu who decide to steal the Kawiki fruit, our sacred fruits. Makumu said that he should support the Watcher and subscribe and like this video, and perhaps even leave a comment.